Welcome back to our last 30 podcasts about life, death, and everything in between. We're getting you ready for 2025, right? Here we are, the first couple of days, first weeks of 2025. And, we started this podcast last year. We've been talking about it for a while. 2024 was our year to just kick it off.
Yeah.
And if someone would have asked us for advice, we would have just said, you can prepare all you want. You can do everything you want. And in anticipation of preparation.
Yeah.
Anticipation of being prepared. And you're never going to be ready.
No.
You could do that. You could apply that thought to everything you do in life. You're just not going to be ready. At a certain point, you just have to do it.
You just have to do it.
You just have to do it. And that's what we learned, right? And so as we were talking about a few weeks back about the lessons we learned in doing a podcast, we thought, let's share some of the things that people have shared with us over the course of our lives, and mentors or things we've read on whether a billboard or just some quote. And you know what? I think that's something kind of cool about Cesar and I is we appreciate those quotes. I know sometimes I get emails from people at the bottom of their email. They have a quote, right?
Yeah, I have one.
So like, how much you have to commit to one quote, what that quote has to mean to you. So when I see those, I read them.
Yeah.
I never just like whatever title, email, contact. I read that quote and I try to connect it with that person, and I really try to get an understanding of why that person said that, why they're using that quote.
Yeah.
And it's just fascinating, right? So building on that, we thought let's share 25 advice points, life hacks, whatever you want to call it, for 2025. And we're going to break this down into
probably two different sections,
episodes, because there's so many. And here's the thing: you're not going to hear anything new. We're not going to share any new innovative, like, oh wow, my mind is blown. It's going to be more of a reminder.
We're not fixing the world with this conversation.
We're really not. It's the same thing when you go to seek advice from someone. I have a friend of mine. I've been friends with her for many, many years. She does a podcast, Christina Hernandez Jolly. Look her up, man. She's doing some really good stuff for in her podcast. When I reach out to her and we get advice from each other, we're not saying anything new. We're reminding each other, right? Like she'll say, or I'll say, like, well, what's important to us? And we always go back to the same thing. Cesar, when you and I talk, we go back to the same thing. It's family. Right? So if I were to say, it kind of reminds me of that scene from, did you ever watch La Bamba, the movie?
Yeah.
All right. So we do a lot of movie quotes in our home. My wife likes, what do you call those? Goldfinger or what? Gold member?
Goldfish?
Gold member? No, gold member. Like Austin Powers. She watches the Austin Powers. She quotes it all the time. It's the weirdest, funniest thing. I like to quote La Bamba, but on one scene of La Bamba, the music producer and manager is telling him, he's inviting him to the studio. If you've seen the movie, and he's offering him the opportunity, right? And I can imagine at a certain point when Beyonce was with Destiny's Child, they did the same thing, right? Here she was, this group, and they said, yeah, we want your talent separate. And that's happened with many other groups as well. Well, that was happening with Richie Valens.
Husband Richie Bamba.
So listen.
I was supposed to be watching the same movie?
As I get older, things don't work the same. So Richie Valens was offered the opportunity. And the point of the story was that the guy said something along the lines of, like, you got to decide, is it your friends or your music? Right? Or you or your friends, kind of was a reference. And he came back and put this little beat up speaker down in his guitar. He says, my family. And for him, the decision to move forward was not about himself, right? It was not about negating his friendship or with his business partners, his band. It was about his family moving forward, man. And so you're going to hear that a lot. So today we want to share a few things that matter to us, that have impacted us, that other people have told us, or we've just heard, just living life, man. Yeah. Again, it's nothing new for you, but we think something here it's going to hit, 2 or 3 points are going to hit you in a certain way. Maybe the timing is right.
Yeah.
Maybe there's things going on in your life where you're just like, you just need that reminder. Again, we're going to do top 25 life advice from us. That's what we've learned in this last year in our lives, moving forward. So let's go. Let's get started.
Let's get started. I guess I can start us off. I think one of the biggest ones that I put, or that I was looking at, is creating a routine for you. I think we forget about that. We go so deep into the minutia of what's going on an everyday basis that we don't sit back and create a routine for us, because that's what's going to become better for us. Establishing those habits will not just nurture your mind and body, but it will also help you be the best person you can be. That way, I mean, we have our routines whenever we go to work. Right. We get there early, we check our emails first, and then answer emails or whatever we need to. So why not create a routine for our day-to-day life? Obviously, we're not always going to be able to hold to that routine, but let's say you wake up, you go to the gym, get your workout in, shower, go to work, come back home, eat a nice meal, read a book, things like that. Things that are going to continue to nurture your body, mind, and soul.
That's right.
To continue to get the best out of you every day.
That's right. No, and I like that, man. I really do, because if you're going to spend time to work out, all right, you've already treated your body well.
Yep.
You're going to make better decisions about the meal.
Absolutely.
Right. You're going to make better decisions about the amount of sleep you're
getting.
You're getting, right? And you're going to make better decisions about what you're putting into your mind, right? Your mind, your body, your soul is what you're talking about. So I love that, man. Build a routine. Great advice. What I wrote was a reminder to my friends, to my family, to listeners. There are 365 sunsets every year. Make it a point to watch some of those. I made a goal to watch 100 sunsets this year. And what does that mean? It was like, okay, so if you go outside and just like, all right, so I watched it. What's the big deal?
That's a big deal.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about creating a scene, a scenario, an opportunity. Me, I'm drinking coffee on this filming day, and it's hard for me to take a sip and not honestly, like this. Watch. It's that good. I mean, this coffee is that good. You've had
the Starbucks? Okay.
No, man, this here right here, made here at home. You've had coffee and food. You've had friendships and relationships that good that you're just like,
you remember them, and you're like,
right. It's just that. That's what I'm encouraging you to do. Whether if you have a family, go sit outside and be intentional about that sunset with your family. If you're alone, you live alone. Go outside and have a drink or take some deep breath. I really think there's different energy at the sunrise and at the sunset. Now, why am I saying, do I not appreciate sunrises? Sunrises are hard for working Americans, working people, right? Sunrises are tough. But usually, most people can make it home or step outside from their work
for a little bit,
for a couple minutes to watch that sunrise, sunset. Every day, if you look, it'll tell you to the minute when sunrise is and sunset hits.
This little thing is powerful.
It's powerful, man. Our cell phones are powerful. So listen, my advice to you is something simple. It costs you nothing. Enjoy a few sunsets. Tell us all about it, man. Tell us build a routine, right? Who do you sit outside with? Me personally, when I sit outside, I have my little radio. I have some music. I like to listen to 80s rock, 80s country, 80s rap. I'm really stuck in the 80s, and I really like that period. Put that on in the background, watch the sunset, and I just think about stuff. I give thanks, man. I'm a very grateful person, and that allows me the opportunity to do that. So incorporate that in your life. Let me know how it works for you, man. Thank you. What you got, CJ?
Oh, that's great. Right. When thinking about this past year and things that have happened and things that I've experienced and a lot of things that have happened, not just to myself, but to a lot of other people, I think one of the biggest things that I understood, just specifically talking about relationships, whether it be personal relationships, friendships, whatever, family relationships, anything like that. I think there's two big things that we need to understand whenever it comes to that, and I think it's a good reminder for us in 2025 that we need to discover your own identity, who you are personally outside of those relationships, not who you are whenever you're with that friend, with that other significant other, with your family members. Learning who you are and rediscovering yourself, doing other new things, new activities, revisiting old activities that you have stopped doing, things that you love to do that are close to you, that you maybe, oh, I haven't done this, X, Y, or Z, because I don't have time, or I've been doing this, or I've been doing that. So rediscovering your identity, and also I think the biggest part of it is trusting the journey.
Yeah.
Reminding ourselves that no matter what happens, no matter if it's an ending or a new beginning, those experiences are going to shape who we are and are going to make us a stronger version of ourselves. And there's always something that we can learn from any ending or any beginning that we continue to do. Whether it be personal relationships, whether it be a job, whether it be with a significant other, I think trusting the journey and rediscovering your own identity.
No, I really like that. If you're listening and you've taken some time to rediscover yourself, please share in the comments to affirm, is that something that worked for you? I mean, as you were speaking not too long ago, I took some personal time to just take a couple of days and go camping alone.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an easy process. Like it took some navigating. Of course, you have work, you have family, you have responsibilities. But I knew that I needed some time alone. Now, it wasn't ideal. I still worked. I still, it wasn't exactly what I sought out, what I needed, but it got the job done, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like when you talked earlier about building a routine, even if you're not successful in that routine, you were successful because you did something.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have a routine, if you don't have a goal or a mission, then you can't get anywhere. That's the truth of the matter. So great advice there. If you have done something where you took some time for yourself to rediscover yourself, share it with us, man. I'd really like to hear it. Share it with others.
Mm-hmm.
What I wrote down was think about, we did a podcast. We've been doing it for about 9-10 months now. We're closing in on a year. And I'd like to see you share with your family, with yourself, the 10 songs that you want played at your memorial service or funeral. When I thought of this, I also thought, let me write down, and I off the top of my head, I have like 30 or 40 songs.
Everything. I'm going through all the songs list right now.
So
going through the playlist.
I went to a memorial service for my niece a few weeks back, and they were playing some really beautiful music, and they had pictures of her. She was a young lady. She was 19 years old, and it really makes you think, right? It's a solemn moment, and it's also a moment for you to celebrate. And I do think about that. I think about the 10 songs that I want played at my service that are going to allow my family, every time that those first 3 or 4 notes hit, they're going to be like, this guy, whatever it is, right? I can tell you right now, there will be a Jelly Roll song. You know what I mean? There will be a Metallica song. There's got to be. There's going to be an Alan Jackson or a George Strait song. And yeah, man, there's some really good stuff that I'm trying to incorporate. But music is that window to the soul, and it really helps us reflect and reminisce. And so, what I'd like to hear from you is make that one of your goals. Write down your 10 songs, and then explore in parentheses why that song is something you want played at your memorial service or funeral. And it kind of gives you an idea of where you're at, right? Where you hope to be, what you want people to be thinking about as you transition. We're all going to transition. Yeah. It's the weirdest thing in the world. We are not a society that is prepared for death.
No.
We ignore it. And there are whole industries, right? There are people who try to talk to you about your will, the funeral industry. There's oh my goodness, health and welfare and mental health, all these individuals trying to help you live a longer life, the medical industry. And we're super shy. And as I get older, a lot of my colleagues absolutely will not talk about the end of life and transition, what that means. And I'm telling you that that I want to have a list. I want to be prepared, so that it's less work for my family.
Absolutely.
Write your 10 songs down and share it with us. I'd really love to hear it. And I'm gonna let's get our.
That'll be our homework, and we'll put it together. We'll drop it on the comments for you guys.
Yeah, we'll do that, and maybe we would do a little podcast and do a little snippet of those songs. We have some ideas, but again, today is our first 10. It's not 1 through 10 or the top or lower. There's just the first ones we're going to talk about. We're going to do 25 hacks and life advice for 2025. Cesar, what do you got?
Oh man, I think my next one. This one really resonates a lot with what we've done, what we've trying to create, what we've accomplished 2024. Celebrate progress, not perfection.
Yeah, man.
I think that has been huge for us. Again, we had talked about the podcast for 2-3 years since the pandemic started, of what we wanted to do, what we wanted to continue to move the high red homies into, what we wanted to evolve into. But again, we wanted it to everything be super perfect to get it started. We wanted every single condition to be perfect to start off and be ready and go viral on our first 10 minutes of that first episode and become TikTok famous or whatever, YouTube famous and with this. But we're acknowledging we're not beautiful women. We're not.
That's our fault.
But celebrating the progress. I think acknowledging the efforts that you make towards a goal, no matter how small the goal is, no matter how significant it might seem to others, but to you, is acknowledging those efforts that you've done and understanding that to get to that goal, you have to grow and you have to be mindful that not everything's going to be perfect. There's going to be things that are going to be situations that are going to be put in front of you. I mean, again, going back to the podcast, there are situations where we can't control. We've recorded episodes where we haven't recorded anything.
Yeah.
We sat there literally an hour talking to a camera without being recorded.
And then we said, that was great. And let's review it. Nothing.
So
you've been there in life. You've put in a lot of work, and then you go to hit the rewind button or go to review, or
you're like, whoops.
Or you're doing a year review. Like, man, I didn't get a whole lot done this last year. This is your year, man. 2025, right? And that's what we're talking about. You know, if you're someone who likes, again, quotes, powerful song lyrics like me, man, I hear a song and I'm like, oh, rewind that. Oh, did you just hear what he or she said in that? Like, powerful stuff. I'm someone who has like signs on my walls. Family is this and family is everything. And this one a sign I have is find something you die for and then live for it.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And it's like, man, that's powerful. I have a sign in the garage right there by the weights. It says, work hard and be nice.
Nice.
Simple, man. Just somebody work your ass off, but be nice to people. So if that's the kind of person you are, you're going to enjoy this podcast and share a quote with us. You know, what's powerful to you? What motivates you and what gets you in that mood? Another one I have is a little bit of advice.
Okay.
Mindful of transition, and staying fresh at work, staying fresh in knowledge. Learn a new skill set or two, right? Whether it's a computer app or technology, whether it's something at work that you had been apprehensive to learning, learn something new. And then I'm going to add to that, and please share something new with somebody else, right? A new colleague, a new partner. Share that information with them to empower them and lift them up, because there is power in lifting others up. So learn that skill set, share a skill set.
I'll share with you how to use an iPhone.
You can share with me how
so
to
you
use
can finally get rid of that 2015 Android phone that you have.
I went to the bank the other day and I told a lady, I said, does anyone still use these? She said, what? And I held up my checkbook and she says, She didn't want me to feel bad. She goes, yes, sir. There's a couple of people that use them. I said, anyone under the age 50? And she said,
no, sir.
no. And she said, but you have Cash App and Zelle and all that. I said, I don't have any of those. She goes, you only use your checkbook?
He said, I barely have a phone that works.
I barely disconnected the cord from my phone a couple of years ago.
So I'm
old school like that. I'm old school like that. What do you got, Cesar?
Man, this is another advice. This actually, I wrote two little things about it. But whenever we first started talking about this episode, the one thing that I wrote on my notes on my phone to remember and to understand what I wanted to talk about, all I wrote was be proud of yourself. Then I started getting a little bit more deeper, and this is what I came up with. So I'm going to read it word for word, what I wrote. Remember, your story is your strength. The obstacles you faced and overcome are proof of your resilience and power. Be proud of who you are, because your journey, every struggle, every triumph, is what makes you unique. Embrace it, share it, and let it inspire others. Your identity and accomplishments are a testament to the incredible heights you can reach, no matter where you started. I think that's a great tip to give back to the community, give back to you guys, our audience, to be proud of who you are, be proud of what you've accomplished, where you are at in life. We all have different journeys in life. We all have different goals and aspirations that we want to do in life. So we can't compare ourselves to what you accomplished whenever you were 28, what I'm accomplished when I'm around 52, whatever. We cannot do that. We got to be able to be proud of who we are, what has taken us to that point in life, and what we have done to that point.
And our paths are going to be different, is what Caesar's saying, right? Like, so if someone says, man, it'd be great if you could do this industry, become this person. Your path and my path are going to be different. Celebrate that. Yeah. Celebrate your success along the way is what we're talking about.
The uniqueness of each individual.
You know, and you said something, and I was like, yeah, actually, that's what I did. I did the same thing. He said he wrote it down on his phone over the last few months. And so I do that all the time. I speak to people. I'm so lucky. There's this guy I used to work with. His name's Zach. He's a young guy, man, way younger than me, but he's so knowledgeable. And he would say stuff, and then I'd go back to the office and write that. I like that, man. And there's people like that in our lives, right? You know, Mr. Peace, who we interviewed,
we're thankful for that
stuff. Armand, who we interviewed as well, Dr. Flo. So, anyways, people that I see a lot and talk to, I would write things down that they would say. And even when I talk to people, I see sometimes they write down things I say. Surround yourself with those people that are going to empower you with that knowledge. Take your phone out and write it down. Who knows when you'll need it? Yeah. My kiddos wanted us to go to church the other day, so we went. And it was this really small black church, and I think Lancaster, DeSoto, and I'm telling you, man, that preacher was at a different level, dude. He was throwing some knowledge, and I finally just had to take out my phone. And I'll find my notes later, man. He was just saying some really great stuff. Of course, most of it connected to biblical references, as it was such a Sunday service. But he was throwing just mad knowledge about life, man. And I love that. So the point is, take out your phone, write it down, text it in there, use it later, share it with someone else, or share it with you, or just end of year or end of month, just write down all the quotes, and you start seeing what motivates you and what gets you going. Like if you're always writing down quotes, it's the same thing. Like I watch a lot of podcasts, let's say about mental health or men's health. Like I wonder why, right? Or relationship building or financial advice. Like I wonder why. Like you start seeing a pattern there. Keep doing it, man. Write it down, and if you hear someone say something that's powerful, send it to us, man. We love to hear that stuff. The other thing I said was take care of your health. You know, we know, and we've been told to eat right? And we know that means cut down on these things and increase in these things. And you can fill in the blanks, right? Whatever you have access to. I recognize that it's actually cheaper sometimes to eat at a fast food restaurant than it is a healthy meal from a grocery store. That's the reality.
Absolutely.
I recognize and acknowledge that for some people listening, they don't have the same access to a grocery store and fresh produce within a 5-10 minute walk or drive. I recognize that, man. So whatever you can do to stay healthy, based on your budget and your access, I respect. But we've heard everything about eating right. We've heard everything about exercise, right? And I remind my kiddos, I remind my spouse, like, you can get a gym membership. You can, and you could work out, and you can do, and for a lot of people that is motivating. Or you could literally, separate some furniture, push-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks, up and down stairs, short, little bursts of running. Like, there's things you can do if you don't have a whole lot of resources, money or time.
Step outside your door and walk outside a little.
Yeah. Listen, here's the thing. The world has excuses. You have excuses. Man, as human beings, we can justify just about anything. See, the reason I didn't work out last year was because da, 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 da. And I say this all the time, man. I got COVID at the very beginning, and I was really sick. I really believe that all the running I was doing at the time saved my life, man, because my lungs were strong. And I say that, and then I always pause because I'm like, well, get back into it. What's your excuse? Well, the thing, no, man, you can't give. That's the thing, right? It's time to move forward and move those excuses out of the way. I hope that you can move those excuses. But we've been told to eat right. We've been told to exercise right. And what I'd like to add is for you to take care of your mental health, which we always don't do, right?
Yes.
Mental health is total health. To be a well-rounded person, right, you have to take care of all those components, not just your spiritual and physical, but you got to take care of your mental health. So in 2025, I'm going to encourage you to connect with a life coach, connect with a therapist, with a counselor, connect with your church, synagogue, or your mosque. Connect with someone who's going to uplift you and empower you, and help you establish a routine to empower yourself, love yourself. And when you love yourself, then you can love everybody else.
Powerful. Oh, man. So, next one. Next one and last one. I think this will be a great way to conclude today's episode. I've been seeing on social media this trend going on a lot. 7 things you're not responsible for. But I put a little twist to it. So, I'll go ahead and talk about those. Thing number 1, others people's opinions of you. You cannot control how others perceive you, and their opinions are a reflection of their own experiences, not your worth.
That's right.
So that's number 1 you're not responsible for. Fixing everyone's problems. Supporting others is kind, but you're not responsible to solve every issue for everyone. They must take responsibility, and we must take responsibility for our own lives. Carrying generational baggage. You're not responsible for the expectations or unresolved struggles passed down through family or cultural norms. I think we've all experienced that, especially in our communities. Making everyone happy. It's impossible to please everyone, and prioritizing your well-being is not selfish, it's necessary.
You could do a whole podcast on just us attempting to make others happy. You will fail every time.
Yep.
You're just not going to do it.
Never.
You're not. Take care of yourself, man.
Others people's emotions. You can empathize, but you're not accountable for how others manage or express their own feelings. Being perfect. We talked about this a little bit earlier ago. Mistakes are part of being a human. You don't need to have it all figured out to be worthy or successful.
That's right.
And last but not least, explaining or justifying your identity. Who you are, where you come from, what you believe in, validate or what you believe are valid without needing approval or explanation from anyone. I think these are 7 things that we need to let go of that we're not responsible for, that will help us live a better life and focus on what truly matters in our lives and what's going to continue to push us forward. Again, 2025, we're starting a fresh year. It's a perfect time to do that, and try to start putting these things in our forefront, in our head, and actually putting some action behind it. I think I think a lot of the things that we do, especially at the end of the year or at the beginning of New Year, we want to do and we want to accomplish so many things, but that's where all day ends. We talked about it, we said it, or we wrote it down, period. It doesn't really happen. So we got to put in a little action behind our words to make things change and be able to, again, prioritize ourselves, prioritize our mental health, and live life. I think, again, going back to our last 30, we don't know when we're going to go. We don't know how many more days we have here on Earth. So living that day like it's your last, I think is also part of that responsibility of us to live to live truly to ourselves.
If you need to apologize, go apologize.
Yeah.
If you love someone, go tell them.
Go tell them, exactly. Put all that behind. Put all those nonsense.
And that's the extreme, the love and hate reference right there, right? Like, the hate part, it doesn't serve you, man.
No. It eats at you.
It eats at you, man. It tears you up. There's no benefit.
Mm-mm.
There really isn't. That's the reality of it. And we hope that this advice, hits home. I have one last piece. My fifth one for the day, right? We're gonna do 25 total for 2025. We're gonna break this down into 2 episodes. But my last one is, this is your comeback year, right? This is the year where you come back. This is your Phoenix year, right? So whatever your barriers were, your difficulties, the fires you leave behind, rise from the ashes like a phoenix and start this year off the way you want to start this year off, the way you deserve to start this year off. Okay? If you want to do it, go do it. You want to do a podcast? Now, if you have the crazy dream of being the Joe Rogan of the world, who am I to say that that's not possible? I can share some stories with you of people who I met along in my life who said something, and you're like, there's no way. As a matter of fact, I'll share something real quick. I guess it was about 10 years ago. I was meeting with some students, and they happened to be a husband and wife team. She was one of my scholars in this program I was running, and he was the starting quarterback for our football team. And we wanted to do something at that time for Hispanic Heritage Month. We were talking about that. We were meeting with some students, anyways. And then myself with the quarterback and his spouse started talking about, like, hey, that'd be cool. We could do something with the football team. What are your ideas? And we're just talking, right? And he says, well, Dr. Fuentes, I won't be available in December. I said, oh, okay. Why is that? He said, well, that's the national championship game. Now, the season hadn't started.
Yeah.
Okay. He said, well, that's the national championship game. And I was like,
Division 2.
Or D2 national championship, right? Mid-December. And I said something along the lines of, like, I'm not following you. You're going to be going to the game? Like, and I was like, that's kind of cool. Aren't
you want to take me with you?
Yeah, I was like, aren't you graduating in December? He said, yes, sir, I'm graduating. He said, as a matter of fact, graduation day is the same day as the national championship game. And I said, I'm sorry, Luis, I'm not understanding. Are you going to skip your graduation to go watch the game? And you know what he told me, dude? You know already.
Oh, I know.
He said, no, sir, I'm going to be playing in that national championship.
Yes, sir.
Now, I needed a moment or two to catch myself, right? My initial reaction was going to be like, are you a soothsayer? Or do you have a crystal ball? The season hasn't even started. I don't know if we're going to go 7-3 or 8-2 or 8-4, whatever. We have a phenomenal football team. I know that.
Yeah, we did.
We had some players and this and that, and we had the Christoph Martinez's of the world and the Jared Macharo, whatever. I don't know if I said his last name right. Big old guy, old beast of a guy. And Luis Perez. And so many others, man. I'm forgetting the names.
A lot, yeah.
We had some phenomenal talent on the team.
That team was amazing.
But still, I was like, this guy, man. But then I thought for a split second, I was like, well, who am I? What do I know? I don't know what he knows.
You ain't a football player.
I'm not. I'm certainly not. I'm closer to the football than I am a football player. Okay, football mean. My point is, so I stopped and I said, all right, so you're going to be playing the national championship on the day you're supposed to be graduating. And that's why we can't do this event. He said, yes, sir, I will. I love it. I love it. And that's what I said. I love it, man. I said, well, maybe we can do another program. So yes, Dr. French, I'd love to do that. Great young man. Love that kid so much, man.
Yep.
Fast forward, Cesar, and that Saturday, graduation, when he was supposed to be at graduation, he went and he played that national championship. But he was wrong.
He didn't just play it.
He was wrong. He didn't just play it. I think he was trying to be nice to me. He didn't want to say, I'm going to win it all. He probably could have told me the score. That man believed in a way that I couldn't believe yet. Or maybe I had stopped believing. My point is this. That was his year.
And you said it every single game, bro. He brought it every game. Yep.
And I still believe that guy, listen, he's going to start. The NFL needs him. I mean, that guy is a phenomenal talent. But I'm telling you, I saw him in college. And I know a story that no one else knows. I don't know if anyone else was trying to do programming that year. I don't know if he told anyone else. I don't know if he told everybody. Maybe he told everybody.
Yeah.
Maybe that was just his destination. But I'm telling you, look that up. Look up the graduation day. Look up the score, the national title.
This was what,
2014?
No, it was 2016 or 17.
We're going to look that up.
But yes, we'll put on the comments. We'll drop it, or I'll put a picture here for y'all.
I know that this last year was either the 9-year mark or 8-year mark.
Yeah, something like that.
So we're old guys, you know. So
I whenever you said 10 years, I started thinking about it. I'm like, it's been that long, bro. But no, that's I forgot it's been that long.
Okay. The point is, man, that guy decided that he was going to win it all.
And they did.
May you always have the spirit of Luis Perez. May you always believe the way he believed. And I'm telling you, this 2025 is our Phoenix year, dude. We're going to rise, brother.
This is our year.
This is our year. I love you. We'll see y'all in episode 2.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate y'all.